Ryan Reaves calls out his next opponent. Easton Cowan shines in his first game back with the London Knights. And Matthew Knies speaks out on his Game 1 performance. We'll break all this news down for you coming up on this episode of Hat-Trick HQ. But before we get into that, we just want to say, if you're one of the thousands of people watching that aren't subscribed, go down below, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the Hat-Trick HQ community. Because me and Mark are going to be here all season long, keeping you up to date on what's happening around the league and with the Leafs. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, and that is Cowan gets his first of the season. And we actually got a little clip here we're going to show you of this goal. You see his teammate comes in, gets hooked, but he still buries it in the back of the net there. And Mark, obviously, you know how big Easton Cowan fans everybody knows we are. Obviously, he's back with the London Knights, but obviously just showing his goal scoring, showing what he learned in the preseason with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's a great start to the season for him. And if he can keep this development up, it's going to be great for Toronto.
Yeah, the big thing is we've seen Easton Cowan come in. He looked phenomenal in the tournaments they had. He played great in preseason training camp. He looked incredible. But just at the age 18, he's such a young player that I think having this extra year of development with the London Knights, they look like a powerhouse team. He's going to get a lot of penalty kill, a lot of power play time. And just in general, his experience is going to get a lot better where he's playing further up in the lineup. His production should increase, more goals, more assists. When you add all these things together and just put this under the belt, it'd help him next preseason because if he continues his development and shows out any more than he did this year, I think he's a set for the Leafs roster next year. I think he's a guy we could definitely see make the team, especially with us losing a couple players where they're going into free agency. That I could see this guy definitely making it in a bottom six role for Toronto. And just like I said, this development with London is just going to be massive for a guy like this.
Yeah, I can definitely see him taking that next step next season and coming up and playing with the Leafs. He did look phenomenal in this preseason. I know we covered a lot of it. We are really high on this guy. We really wish him the best this season in London. But I really do think, like you said, this London Knights powerhouse is a powerhouse team this year, and I think him getting that playoff or Memorial Cup experience will be big for him too. Because if he does make the Leafs next year, he will be jumping right into a Stanley Cup contending team.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You see these guys coming up. You want them to have experience to play in big, meaningful games. Obviously, just playing in the juniors, it is meaningful games. You're fighting for your spot on this team. But the ultimate goal is to get to the NHL, make the team, make it to the Stanley Cup finals and win. So if this guy can perform in the playoffs, go deep with London and win the Memorial Cup, it just adds just to his resume to get him on Toronto. He'd understand a bit more of the importance of these games and situations once you get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. And best of luck to Easton Cowan with the London Knights this year. I know we'll keep you up to date on what's happening with the Leafs prospects that aren't in Toronto. But we're gonna get into our next topic video here, and that is another Leafs prospect. Matthew Knies speaks out on his Game 1 performance, and as we take a look here, he says. He talked about him being on the fellow line with Mitten. He said it was a rough start for us in the beginning. We were a little bit nervous and didn't have too much poise with the puck. And then Mitten said it was a step up. Everyone out there thinks the game so well. But we did also get a quote from the head coach, Sheldon Keefe. He says, as things build and more of you guys, media, talk to them, you can understand that more gets into their head aside from just playing. That is natural. With more time, that stuff should settle. And Mark, obviously, I thought this line had a great performance there in Game 1. Obviously, you can't expect these two young rookies to go out there playing against people in the NHL who've been there for years and just have great performance. But I do really think this is going to be good for their development. And which, like Sheldon Keefe says, a lot of stuff will get into their head mentally, especially being around the Toronto media. But I do really think that they will settle in and they'll start producing for Toronto.
Yeah, this is just game one of 82. We're going to see this line for at least, I think, the next 8 games. This is a situation where if you send Mitten down, you still keep Knies up. I think he's a staple on this team and will never leave. But when you look at this line, I thought as the game went on against Montreal, they looked a lot better. They were forechecking hard. Knies had a great chance to score. And just overall, it's just going to take a couple games to gel. We see so much power just coming from the top 6 of Toronto that this third line might get overlooked. People might say, oh, they didn't score. Oh, they didn't produce produce on the scores sheet. But the thing is, they do the small things, the forechecking. They were good defensively, and I'd say around game 3 or 4 is when we're going to start seeing this line shine. I think it's just a matter of time before both guys score in the regular season. Like I said, I think it's going to happen between now and just say game 3, 4, or 5. So I wouldn't be worried. I think this line's looking good so far. They have a game against Minnesota, and then you kind of move on to Chicago. So after these games, I think they'll start evaluating. Worst comes worst, you move Knies up, send Mitten down to the juniors, and you kind of shuffle lines like this. But overall, I think this line's great, and I would not I wouldn't be surprised if they went past 9 games.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think they just need to kind of get their feet beneath them. For lack of a better phrase, I think they just got to get settled into playing with all these NHL caliber players. And once they do, I think the sky's the limit for these two guys, because I really do think that they are the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. And when you're on the third line, too, you're up against a lot of NHL vets who've been in the leagues for many years, and getting adjusted to playing with guys with such high hockey IQ is going to be a learning experience. I think both these guys have enough hockey sense to get adjusted and just be great players with the Leafs this year. And I do really think that this line will excel in a couple more games as soon as they get some more experience under their belt.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. They're playing against guys that could have 100 games, they could have 300, 400, 500 games under the belt. These guys know how to play against people. So when you put this line out, they're a little bit unexperienced. But I think it's a situation like you said. They just need a couple of games. They'll get their footing right, and then I think it's just going to look like a great line. They're not going to be a line that I don't think you go out and they put up a goal a game or anything, but it's just going to be a productive line of just hard forward checking, good defensively, and just to take some time off the top guys. You put these guys out, they keep the other team hemmed in a bit, let the guys rest, and you put the Matthews, Bertuzzi, and Marner line back out just to hem them even more.
Yeah, definitely. And they do have the leadership there with John Tavares and Sheldon Keefe behind the benches alongside Manny Malhotra as well. I think these guys could really help these guys out, like just getting them into their game, just teaching them how to adjust into the NHL, because these guys have been there for years. And I really do think the experience from the coaching staff and from leadership in Toronto will really help these guys get adjusted. And we wish them the best, because we really do think that this line is going to be a sneaky line for Toronto this year, and they're going to start producing really soon. But we're going to get into the next topic of the video here, and that is Reaves calls his shot. And obviously, you see here the other night, Reaves and Jack did go at it behind the net there, and Reaves said, "I don't like getting jumped. I don't know if I've really jumped anybody. If you want to fight me, just ask. I'm always around. You know where to find me." And he also came out and said, once I stood up and he ended up grabbing me, he just tried pushing me for the rest of it. It felt like it was on purpose. We got them 2 more times. I'm sure something might happen. Don't want to go out like that. And Mark, obviously, these rivalry games are big. The pressure is high, intensity is high. I really do think we're going to see this heavyweight bout once again, and it's going to go over way better than it did the other night.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'm kind of convinced Reeves is going to have 82 fights this year. I think he's just going to work his way through the league, make his impact. We kind of seen with this impact he's already having. The new goals song, apparently he had a lot of say in this. He's taken over the complete locker room music, where he's playing just hip hop, rap. He's trying to get the guys going. And you see this big presence from him where he laid 2 big hits. Arbor Jack grabbed him. They had a little tilt, and Arbor kind of pushed him in the net. I didn't think it was a great fight. I think overall Reeves won it because he did land 2 hard punches before they kind of just fell down like 2 schoolgirls fighting over a pencil. It was just a situation where I think this is going to be another fight. I hope this happens at center ice where there's nothing around. And it's going to be really interesting to see Reeves just make this impact, constantly fighting and just showing his force on this Toronto team.
Yeah, I really do think the next time Montreal and Toronto do face off, Reeves is going to be out there on the puck drop, and so is Jack on. They're just going to let it get over and done with out of the way as soon as puck drops. I can't wait for the next game between Montreal and Toronto, because that's going to be such a great fight to watch, such a great game to watch as well. Another thing with Revo too, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but Matthew Knies took a second rookie lap the other night in game 1, and when Mitten was going out, Revo kind of gave Knies the push and tried to push him out there to get that second rookie lap in. I just thought that was pretty cool, that as well.
Yeah, he's just kind of overall just bringing up the team chemistry. He's making the guys happy. And he's the type of guy that, like I said, he's going to speak out in every situation on the ice, on the bench, in the locker room, and just on the golf course. You've seen during the offseason, and I know everyone's going to make the jokes of, oh, the Leafs are going to be golfing in the playoffs. But on the golf course, he got all the guys out. In the locker room, he's been a loud presence. And this is what this type of team needs. We've seen multiple times where they kind of crumble between games. They crumble sometimes in the playoffs. And having a guy like this where he won't really shut up at any point, keep yelling at you, get everyone going, I think this can be huge for Toronto and just more than people expect.
Yeah, definitely. And we're only 1 or 2 games in when you guys are watching this, and he's already making such a big impact in the locker room. I'm really big on Ryan Reaves being in Toronto. I think this is the person they really did need, and I'm really excited to see what he can do in Toronto this year. And like you said, if he ends the season with 82 fights, everybody will be happy. And he's just making such a big impact, especially on these younger guys as well. I'm really high on him, and we can't wait to see the Arborjack guy, Ryan Reaves, round 2 fight. It's going to be such a fun one to watch. But we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Salty Legion. He said, "You guys are great. Wasn't Danny Cleary from Newfoundland?" And you hit the nail right on the head with that one. Danny Cleary is from Newfoundland. He's from a little town called Harbour Grace, if there's any Newfies watching. And there's a great song made by Danny Dunphy. It's called Having a Time. And it goes like, Danny's on the cup next to Danny Cleary. And Danny Cleary is a Newfoundland boy. One of the players that me and Mark grew up watching. He was from around here. He was a big legend around here. I remember when he brought the Stanley Cup home out in Harbour Grace. That was such a big party.
Yeah, you see so many guys like Adam Pardy. We had Michael Ryder. There's so many new flying guys that not many people talk about being in the NHL. They all had great careers, and of course, Danny Cleary won the cup, which everyone dreams of. So it's exciting just to have a guy like that from here.
Yeah, now we got Dawson Mercer and Alex Newhook. We're always cheering them on. The local boys, go get it, boys. We're really rooting for you this year. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, so we'd really appreciate it if you went down and hit subscribe if you already are not. But if you do enjoy watching the NHL, make sure to hit this video popping up on your screen right now. You'll enjoy it a lot. But we also want to know from you guys. We're thinking about starting maybe some live streams, so let us know down in the comment section below if you enjoy us to start doing some hour-long live streams where we can chat to you guys in real time. But I've been KC alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.